Good afternoon, my friends. The doctor is in the house. Welcome back to another episode of To Your Health with Dr. G. I'm Dr. Mark Gomez, a board-certified internal medicine physician practicing at an Edward Hospital in Bolingbrook, Illinois. I'm so excited to welcome everybody back. Guess what? This is about commitment. Today is my wedding anniversary. So I have to say, first of all, thanks be to God. Second, my lovely wife, Tiffany, she has permitted me to do my show today. And we're just so blessed to have this opportunity. And yes, it is my anniversary, but we have an important message to say. I mean, there's a message of love, there's a message of hope, there's a message of purpose. And we're going to talk about that today. But I have to say, happy anniversary to my lovely wife, Tiffany. She really is the brains behind the Dr. G brand, the show, and everything that we're about to change lives and inspire people. And so at the end of the day, again, I want people to be healthy. We want health at all levels of life. Whether you're a baby, whether you're a kid, adults, elderly citizens, we want health at all stages because it's so important. So today we're going to talk about just purpose. We're going to talk about the power of connectedness. We're going to talk about the power of being part of something bigger than we are. Because I truly believe that's what it is. And even though purpose is not, we're not necessarily born with purpose, but purpose is cultivated. And it's cultivated by the man above. There's no doubt. And I'm a big believer in what God has blessed us to do. And we're going to talk about this today. We're going to talk about the power of people, the power of just mission, the power of service. And we're going to talk about some amazing guests of mine. So again, welcome back to another episode of To Your Health with Dr. G. You can check me out on my website, www.drmarkgomez.com. Check me out on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. My handle is at To Your Health, Dr. G. So before we get into the show today, I want to, of course, hit you guys with a quick disclaimer. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about our guests in a moment. So here we go. The content of To Your Health with Dr. G is for informational and entertainment purposes only, and that the content is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, and or treatment. Further details can be found at www.toyourhealthwithdrg.com/disclaimer. So happy Wednesday, everybody. The title of today's show is really about living life to the fullest. And when I kind of crafted the show, and you guys are going to meet my guest in a few moments, but when I crafted the show, I knew that, again, this is part of the story. Everybody has a story to be told. And the question is, what is your story? You know, your health and your life are so intertwined and interconnected. To hopefully have a good life, you have to have good health, and hopefully have had good life, good living, you've had health along the way. And so really, when we're going to talk about today, I really want people to get the message that yes, we are connected. Yes, there are miracles that happen every day, and yes, we have a purpose. Each of us has a purpose. And we're going to try to talk about some stories that have inspired us. And so what I want to do is I want to introduce my guest because I'm just so happy. We connected a few months ago and really shared a similar mission. And what they do, what we're trying to do with the show is again, we're trying to build trust and deliver the truth through fact, through leveraging me and my network of health experts. But my friends that are out there, my networks in the community, there are some amazing people doing amazing things that share same values that we have. So I want to introduce my lovely guests. I love these guys. They're awesome. We just connected. We just hit it off. It was amazing. And thank you for the delicious coffee, by the way, with the coconut creamer. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. But no, we just connected a few months ago, and it's like we gotta put something together. And both my wife doing some of the background stuff, and the team of John and Maria Graves. They have really been working together to kind of make this show what it is today. So I want to introduce my guests today. I'm very proud to welcome them. We have our guests, John and Maria Graves, owners and operators of Peter Rubi Produce LLC. Check them out, www.peterrubi.com. John and Maria, welcome to the show.
Oh, it's great to be here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you guys here again. This has been planning in a few months, over the last few months, to get you guys here. And first of all, I love the swag today. Love the swag.
Thank you.
Because again, you guys are all about a mission and a purpose. And And yes, we talk about life, and we have similar challenges. We go about things in different ways, but we all try to come together as a community. And I'm really excited to welcome you guys to talk about really what we're doing. So why don't we do this? I want to start out with I just want to hear about you guys. Like I know you guys have been married for a long time. It's okay to admit it. Hey, I'm talking about my anniversary today, and I'm here, and I've been 8 years happily married. But I want to know more about you guys. Tell us, you can even tell me how you guys met and everything, but please.
Oh, that's a
So,
long story.
okay, fair enough. All right, we'll do that one then. Fair enough.
We're married 33 years.
Yes.
All right, that's
So-
Yes.
So 33 blessed years.
Yes.
So I'm just like a novice in the game when it comes to just only 8 years in it, but certainly you guys have found a partnership and a union under God, and this has been great, and so it's been so awesome. So why don't we do this? First of all, today's theme, again, living life to the fullest. We're really talking about what is your purpose, and again, some people know it early, some people know it later in life, but we've all got something to give and be part of a bigger picture. So I'm going to ask the question. First to John, my good friend John, and John, I really want to ask a question. You know, when opportunity kind of presents itself, I mean, we have opportunities, things that come in life, but I know it's very broad, but how do we take advantage of opportunity when it comes to our healthy living?
My story is a long one, but I am a cancer survivor. For all you doctors out there, undifferentiated high-grade pleomorphic sarcoma, which basically means fast killer, fast spreader. But the opportunities come when you see the people right around you. Instead of like faraway dreams of what you're going to do, and I want to be this, or I want to be that, or I want to do this in my life, you have a circle of friends right around you. Why not tap into that source immediately? What your opportunities are right now, right where God put you, right in your life, right around you. So that's how we do it. We look at who's around us, what are your gifts, what are your talents, how can we help you, which is an unusual approach, because a lot of people turn around and say, oh, well, I want to meet that person because they can help me. If you just flip that upside down with a whole other perspective of life and say, I have gifts and talents, I want to find people around me, how can I help them, and what could I do to help their journey? All of a sudden, God starts opening doors into things that you never ever thought would ever happen. I mean, we never thought we'd be running a produce store at Peter Rubi.
No.
30 years ago, or 33 years ago when we got married, you know.
Nope.
But that's what we're doing now, and we love it. I mean, there's there's so much purpose. So many people come in and out of our lives that we want to affect lives any way we can, and that's why we get up every morning, because we want to do changing people's lives.
Excellent. I always like talking about, we talked a little bit off air about, you know, Maria, you and I were talking about, you have to take a leap of faith. You can't be afraid to do that. How do people take that leap? Some people may be listening, they might not know, that maybe they might be stuck in one part, maybe there's a job that you're stuck in and you're not being fulfilled in that job, or maybe there's an ailment you're suffering from that's affecting how you go around day to day. But how do you take that leap of faith? Because in order to really find your purpose, you have to take a leap of faith. You have to have that.
Yes. Well, gosh, it's a hard question for me to answer, because it starts with a lot to get to the place that gave me a leap of faith to do all that I did. And I think it takes with passion about something you're really passionate about, and you go for it and you learn about it, and you I put my whole heart and soul into health. Before John got cancer, I put my heart into it because I just knew something was going to happen in my family, and so health was just something that triggered in me.
It just interests you.
Yeah, it totally interests me, because I had issues when I was a child. I had Perthes disease, and I had issues I had to overcome myself. And then when John got cancer, I just went on a rampage of I wanted to learn so much. And
Like non-stop learning.
Non-stop learning. I would stay up from raise the kids, do
There's
all
no
the stuff.
sleep allowed.
And then study from 12 o'clock to 6 a.m. in the morning, get a couple hours of sleep, and I just couldn't get enough. And I guess my leap of faith is because my passion, and I wanted to change people's lives, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter what was in the roadblock. I was going to go through the roadblocks, and I was going to find people to help me get through the roadblocks. And most of all, God. You have to have a strong spiritual
You
faith
do,
behind
you
you.
do. It's, I love how you said, find something that's important to you, find something that you hold close to your heart, and that can be your first step towards doing better, towards making that next step, towards contributing to finding that higher purpose. But I always say purpose is very individual. It's you have to have this kind of, if you have any internal conflict, you have to resolve that and that peace with yourself, and then all of a sudden, once you come to peace, and outside of external influences, you have society might say, oh my gosh, you gotta get a job, or your parents would say, oh my gosh, you gotta get a job. If you have to be comfortable with you, and it's okay to understand that some people might say, well, I don't agree with the pathway that you're going, but you have to do it from you, and that's the first step of purpose. What are your thoughts about that, John?
Well, I think I would love to be a singer, but I sing like a frog, so I'm not allowed to sing. So I have that old philosophy: when you sing in church, if you don't sing well, sing loud. My daughter says, "No, don't do that, Dad. Don't sing loud." So I think it's you have to match your passion with your talents, but then you have to find that crossover where those two match as to what you're actually specifically. God gives us each individual talents, and I think the key is your passion and your talents match. You stay in what they call the sweet spot, and you have to stay in there, and you have to just like learn about it. You have to learn about cancer. You have to learn about produce. You have to learn about being a doctor. And I'm good at produce, but I would not be very good at being a doctor. So I think the key is that I know that I love produce. I love healthy eating. I love to feel well, and I just know how to buy and sell and trade, and that's what I love to do. So I don't really want to do anything else. So I just stay there and I learn how to take it, grow, and what to do to make money, to prosper in that situation, and to survive, and then to change people's lives. Because we all need to make money to survive. So that's a given. We all want to make money. We all want to have new toys. We all want to do those things. But if you do it and you hate it, what a waste of life. So every day you get up and you hate what you do, have the strength to change. Have the courage to say, you know what, I'm tired of doing what I'm doing, and I want to do something different. And then, what is it you want to do different, and start going down that path.
I want to give you a Chinese proverb that I found in preparation for the show. So here's a Chinese proverb, and I think this hits it on the head. The person who says it cannot be done should not interrupt the person who is doing it. And I found that to be just so powerful, because we go down a pathway, and again, we're shaped by a lot of different things in life. We have a lot of influences. We have our mentors, our parents, our faith that help shape us. But at some point, you've got to be on your own, and you hope that you're able to do what you want to do. But reality is, like in life, as you said, you didn't think you were going to be doing this years ago. You've had to have some flexibility along the way. And sometimes we can be so rigid in what we're doing that it may be hard to have that flexibility. Maybe that opportunity is not there for you to have flexibility. Maybe you want to make a career change. Maybe I had a guest on the show a number of months ago who was a business person, and her passion was actually cooking. And she basically left a high-paying job in corporate America to pursue her passion, to the chagrin of her parents, of course, help kind of fund things along the way, high school, college, and things like that, and then to make a life change. And again, she was not fulfilled. And I tell people, don't rush to like find your fulfillment, but start with things that are important to you. Like, that's your core to say, hey, I might be interested in doing this, but again, you have to, at some point, you have to take that leap of faith.
Can I interrupt her for
Yeah.
a second? The leap of faith. A lot of people say, "Oh, I want to be a chef," or "I want to open my own restaurant." Great, good idea. You're making money. You're living. You're paying your bills. Go work in a restaurant for free. Go into that environment, live it, try it, do it part-time. A lot of people will take free labor. Just go into that and say, "Okay, now I really do like this," and then take the necessary steps to make the change. Just don't quit and go, and all of a sudden you're out of a job and you're homeless.
Yeah, if you didn't like it, you said, "Oh my gosh, I wasted all these resources." Now you're right. It's like, "Oh no, I shouldn't have done that."
Yeah, and we also say you guys got to start going through the doors. I tell my kids who just graduated from college recently, I'm like, you got to start opening the doors. Try something, and let people mentor you, and go look at people you want to be like or you admire, and give them a call, or email them, but start walking through some doors, and then something's going to happen if you're going forward. And you needed to walk through all those doors to finally get to where you're going. So it's just not going to be handed on a platter. You have to work for it.
Yeah, you definitely have to work. You definitely have to work for a lot of things in life. But we're given these great opportunities. God's given us a great opportunity to have the right people come into your life. I think of it as I'm reflecting on my wedding anniversary today. I'm so blessed to have fulfillment. I'm a better husband. I'm a better father. I'm a better physician. I'm a better global citizen on planet Earth because of my wife, who's been with me this entire ride, and so having some more amazing things to go.
I met her. It's true.
It's true. Yes, it is very true.
You need a partner. You really need a
Yeah.
partner. John could have never gotten over cancer
way.
if I wasn't his coach. You need somebody to do life with.
Right.
You do.
So it's interesting when you talk about partner. It gave me this idea about, well, there's a theory called blue zones. It's not really a theory, but it's a fact, and it's called blue zones. And what blue zones are specific locations on the planet where people live the longest with the least amount of health burden. And this came out originally from a National Geographic article back in the mid-2000s, I think it was like 2005 or 2006, where they said, somebody asked the question, what gives those people, what are the things that those populations have in common that live the longest? And those populations are, I wrote it down because I don't have them memorized, but here's the locations. Sardinia in Italy, Okinawa in Japan, Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica. I want to go to some of these places. We're talking about this right now. Like, I want to go there and live long and live healthy. Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, Ikaria in Greece, and Loma Linda, California. And what happens is those people that live the longest, so we're talking about this, they have that connection, that partnership, but they also have life purpose, a sense of that. And there's just so powerful that gives you the hope and the chances just to be a healthy person and to thrive. The other good thing that they have in common is they do a moderate calorie intake. They also follow a plant-based diet, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit on what you guys are doing. But there's so many good characteristics, and I go, and when I was researching this, I go, oh man, I'm in Plainfield, Illinois. I need to go to one of these places. But it talks about we need to, there's more that we can do to help out each other, to uplift each other.
Maria, you know about this more than I do.
Well, those places, what I research and I've learned is that the mindset, the stress level is the number one for health. And eating is like way down the road. If you can't get your mindset right or believe in a higher power to help you get through it, you failed. That's the first two you have to do. You have to believe in something bigger than yourself, and you have to take that stress out and kind of let it go.
A lot of people can't just turn the stress off because they're in
Yeah,
an
we know,
environment. I know. Guilty as charged. I met in my cancer journey, we've had a lot of people come to our house and ask how I got well and how I'm cancer free because I was only given 8 months to live. And it was stage 3. A lot of these people came to the house, they were terminally ill, they had cancer, and it was all about the peace of mind of where they're at now and what they wanted to accomplish in the remainder of their life. And a lot of them were multimillionaires. They spent all their time gathering and getting this resource and this power and this wealth that they so are trained to do. And I said, what would you do? How much would you give up to be guaranteed to live another year? And they're like, I'd give it all up. I'd give it all up. You give all your wealth, all the thing that you spent for all those years for one more year. Yes, because I only have weeks or I only have months left. So why are we all chasing all of this material goods and the things that we think are going to give us happiness and temporary happiness? Why aren't we all searching for the eternal joy of our purpose? That's really what it comes down to, is searching for your internal purpose of your life, which gives you joy, which is different than happiness. So happiness is, yes, we're happy, we're sad. Maria was sad this morning because her daughter's got her mad. But now she's happy because I took her dancing. Let's just dance to music. So happiness comes and goes, but eternal joy doesn't. And that's when we realize that we are creatures that are made by a creator, and that our purpose in life is to be servants to others and to him. And then when we do that, all of a sudden, doors open up. the money comes, the opportunities come. We never thought we'd be on a talk show radio.
No.
She didn't
Well,
really
I
have
wanted
to
to be
drag
here
her
today.
in.
Well, pinch yourselves right now because you guys are on talk
Oh my
radio.
gosh.
Without a doubt, I'll
Yes.
pinch you guys right there.
But they live, they're more relaxed out there. So in those countries, they're more relaxed.
Yeah.
They don't do as much chemicals, and their food is pure. It's better food out there. They're enjoying life. They breathe,
laugh.
relax. Yes.
They laugh and I read that article there. It's community.
It's
You
community.
have to be in a
as well.
Community.
They do
and
life
help each
together.
other.
Mhm.
Right, they do life together.
No. I think about the things that have shaped me to become where I am right now, and certainly my journey began when I was 9 years old, and my twin brother and I had asthma as kids growing up, and my twin brother had it a lot worse than I did, and I remember this distinctly. We were in church, and during the homily, my brother went into a severe asthma attack. And I remember service being stopped at that time, and people gathered around and like watching him gasp for air.
Oh, wow.
And the deacon of the church, he came running down, and basically, this is back in the '80s, so you can't get on your cell phone right there and like call 911.
Sure. Yeah.
He came in, and then this was 1987 in particular, specifically, and he came in and he literally tossed the keys to the church truck to my dad and was like, "Go." And me, my dad, and my brother were sitting in a pickup truck. And my dad's flooring it like crazy, and we're trying to get him to the hospital as fast as possible. And watching my twin brother, I have an identical twin, and watching my twin brother, my best friend at the time, my wife's my best friend now, that's for sure. My brother's number 2. But watching my brother suffer and gasp for air, I was so struck by it, and thank God that we got to the hospital all the time. But I remember my dad yelling in the car and saying like, "God, no, no, no." And I mean, the tears running down his face, tears running down my face, and we get to the hospital, and they bring him in and they give him medicine, and it was just the recovery that he had was amazing. And it was at that exact moment that I said, "Hey, I'm part of a bigger purpose." I found my purpose earlier in life. I said, "I know what I need to do. Watching him suffer, I want to try to do the best that I can to help other people that are suffering." And that's what led me down to the pathway of being a physician.
Amen.
And now my brother, he's
alive?
he's alive, and he's living, and he's great, and he moved locally not too long ago. We still talk every day and
Nice.
everything. So, but again, that was God working at that time, and I thank the deacon for having some hot wheels that can go fast. But that was my story that gets her. And again, everybody's got a story to tell, and everybody's entitled to a good story on their life. And you mentioned John a few moments ago, as you said, if you had a year left to live, what do you want to accomplish? And you said people will say, "I'd give all the prestige, all the money to have another year."
Mm-hmm.
And I got me thinking, as you're telling me that, it's like, what would you want if you had 1 year to live, what would you do?
Going through this, yeah, that was me.
was
I
you.
had 8 months. So
That's
God gave me 8 months, not 12.
Yeah.
Why me? Why me is what everybody turns around and asks themselves. And so really what comes down to the question is why not you?
What's gonna be a gravestone?
There's 7 billion people in the world. And everybody that goes through their tragedy is always like, why me? Why not somebody else? I had the exact same thoughts. Why me? So I had that real argument with God, and I said, "God, why me? How can it be somebody else?" And I go, "Why does somebody else deserve it? Why not me deserve it?" And I looked back at my life, and I said, "Okay, I work crazy hours. I eat crazy food. I'm under stress. I'm chasing this goal. I'm on this wheel, this hamster wheel of life." And I turn around and go, "Why not me? Why not me suffer?" And then I said, "Okay, God, I got it. If you give me 8 months to live, then tell me what to do with the rest of my life." And so I looked at my life and I said, I'm just going to purge. I'm going to start getting rid of everything that I don't need to survive. And what I needed was relationships. And everything else was not materialistic. It wasn't important anymore. And in fact, I told him when we built this big, beautiful house that we had in Plainfield, it was 7,000 square feet,
6,000.
pool, all that, whatever.
Yeah, that's a big house.
So I turned around and I said, I said, the only way God's going to get me out of this house is feet first, or he burns me out. Well, almost both things happened. I almost died, and we had a house fire. And everything was gone. So all the material things that we wanted disappeared. Gone. And so we looked at it and said, okay, we have each other. And,
Yes.
And the cool thing is when we were trying to, when all these people came in and flew in to find out how much money we were going to get, because they didn't want to pay out anything at all. And all these people flew in and they're saying, you started the fire, Maria, you started the fire. I'm like, I didn't, I saw it though. And you couldn't have seen the fire. And this one fire chief said, hey, stop badgering her. Listen, guys, I'm not spiritual. I don't believe in this other world at all. But I truly believe that there's a spiritual being down here that closed their doors. If you call him God, Maria, call him God. But this family stayed because some spiritual being closed this door, closed the doors and rescued this entire family.
Wow. I mean, you're speaking power of just miracles that happen on a daily basis that give us more reason to persevere in the face of adversity.
Yes.
I think I was talking to you a little bit before, but we have to pray that God opens our eyes to see the miracles. You know, you learn to relax, and all of these meditation things that Maria keeps feeding me to do this, do this, you have to get quiet. You have to just get quiet. I mean, watch the grasshopper go across the street. Watch a car go by. Watch the sunset. Look up at the sky. Take a moment and enjoy your surroundings wherever they're at. I mean, there's something better. I traveled to Africa, and I was in Africa for a month, and I met a little girl who was 14 years old, who was forced into a marriage, who lived in a hut 2 feet by 4 feet. It was her kitchen, it was her bedroom, it was everything, and she had a curtain in front of her door, and that was her life. And she was so happy just to be in a relationship with other people around the world, and that we just loved on her, enveloped her, and said, what can we do to help you? And the tears just flowed, and she says, no one's ever asked me that.
Wow.
Nobody.
That's powerful.
So, what are you doing? Are you all worried about yourself, or are you asking those around you, what can I do to help you? And your life will change.
Yeah. I think we all have that calling. So I never told you this, John. My great uncle was a priest. And for 30 years, at least 30 years, 30 years at least as far as I can remember, he ran a mission in Zambia. And he worked with refugees from Angola. And I remember him sit me down years ago. I must have been about 10, 11, 12 years old maybe. And he basically said, he knew I was going to go down this pathway of being a physician. And he said, Mark, he goes, there are things that you can do in life to service each other, to service mankind. And he said, and I think he was trying to push a plug for the priesthood. And he basically said, Mark, you could be a physician. I kind of said, yeah, I know already I'm going to do that. I had my aha moment when I was 9 with my brother. And then he goes, number 2, you can serve as a priest. And I think he was trying to give me a plug to consider the priesthood. But we can all serve in so many ways. And so I hear that story, and it reminds me, John, of some of the opportunities we've been blessed. I know you felt blessed to have that opportunity to even just go. I was blessed to have an opportunity for a number of years to do mission work in South America and Latin America. And I'd be literally one of 2 physicians in a village trying to just give care. And the impact that people had just to say, thank you. Nobody's ever asked me that, as you said. Nobody's ever asked me, what can I do for you? And the tears keep coming down. I mean, these are remote villages in the Amazon jungle that I was at, and they never had a doctor. They didn't know what it was. And to have somebody come in and say, like, somebody cares about me. And they're also not going to, I mean, I wasn't going to throw my Western ideals on people. You're just there, like, squash your ego, check your ego at the door. Yes. You know, it's one of those things.
When I was in the back villages and we were speaking about Jesus, I was jealous of them. I was jealous of them because I wasn't coming there to bring my Western culture to them. I was coming there to learn and to appreciate the environment. And they had more camaraderie and family and caring. They had more respect for the elders and the way the children got brought up front, and the elders had a position of respect, and the men stand around side and they protected the women. I mean, it was just like This is a community.
That's
and this
true
is what,
community.
This is a
Yeah.
true
Yeah.
community, and we are so lost into our iPhones and into what's good for us and
And
what,
stuff.
and
Our
stuff, our stuff.
things.
Forget it.
Our things.
Look up at the people around you and say, oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by people that actually love me, and how can I build that relationship?
You're talking about being in the moment, living in the moment, in that exact moment.
Yes.
You know, we're on this earth for an undetermined amount of time. You know, make it matter.
Yes.
Make your contribution. And I do believe there are good people out there that have good intentions to do good things, to do not even good things, great things.
Yes.
And so I just hear these stories from you guys, and I'm like, wow, this is awesome.
And like right now, do it. No, don't wait for something else. Like right now where you're at, be content.
Right now. you have to, because again, the past is in the past. We can't change that
Yeah.
stuff.
No.
The future, it's yet to be determined. We only have is right now.
Right.
And as going back earlier, you take that leap of faith now.
Yes.
Take the leap of faith.
And the rest God will provide. It's awesome. I want to talk a little bit of food, guys, because
Okay.
again, you know,
We like food.
You know, we like food too,
I like
absolutely.
food.
I want to talk a little bit of food because, you know, you guys have put together a mission of community and service through fresh produce.
Yes.
Peter Rubi is amazing. First of all, my wife and I have shopped there for years, and we finally had our paths connect. We've been faithful customers there for years. It's amazing produce. But I want to give a couple people a couple food stats. And I know, Maria, you can probably talk to the power of food, but I want to, since it is a health show, I got to give a couple
Yes.
stats.
Sorry.
Just a couple stats on things. So here you go. All right, this is taken strictly from the CDC. So here we go. Only one. And I read these numbers and I go, wow, this is we got a lot of work to do. And again, with this show, we're trying to educate. We're trying to give people the right information so they can live inspiring and healthy lives. So here we go.
Yes.
Only 1 in 10 adults meets the federal fruit or vegetable recommendations. 1 in 10. The recommendation being 2 cups per day of fruit and 3 cups per day of vegetables. The state with the lowest compliance, they broke it down, I go, all right, here we go. The state with the lowest compliance in vegetable intake, West Virginia. The state with the highest compliance in veggie intake, Alaska.
Yeah.
All right. And then with fruit intake, the state with the lowest compliance of fruit intake, meeting those daily recommendations, West Virginia again. That's all right. We got work to do. And then the highest compliance actually Washington D.C. But the interesting thing is the demographics, and we can talk a little bit about this. The lowest consumption demographic of meeting some of those guidelines of just fresh, powerful, nutrient-dense foods are men. Not surprising on guys, I'd say. You probably would agree, John. You probably say young adults. Not surprising in this kind of age of fast food and all this kind of stuff and processed stuff. I don't have time to do this, so I'm going to eat real quick.
Yes.
But men, young adults, and then certainly adults that live in poverty that may have some access issues and barriers. But the reality is when it comes to health, 7 of the top 10 leading causes of death in this country are chronic disease. And so the power of food, it's amazing to reduce risk for common chronic disease burden. When you think about heart disease, diabetes, obesity, certain types of cancers. And so what you guys are doing from a community standpoint speaks my language, because I try to preach to this every day in my clinical practice. So I want to know a little bit more, just how did you guys wind up getting to this point and being passionate about produce?
Oh boy. We were raised, both John and I were raised in the family of produce. I was father was a purveyor, delivered to all the high-end restaurants in Chicago, and I was actually a customer for John, and John would sell me watermelon.
She was cute.
Yeah, whatever he sold.
John,
me.
I see what John, you had an ulterior motive, my friend.
Yes, I did.
And that's what you did. You can say it. Let's be honest right here.
Yes, he did.
On the radio.
I was the only woman on the market at the time
You
when I
scoped
graduated.
her out, my friend.
So-
So that's how you guys.
That's how we met.
Yeah, he
We
was
met
on the
in the
terminal, and I was buying from him. So he was in produce his whole life.
Yeah.
His grandpa was, my dad was, and we were raised in produce. And when I graduated, for college, I came back and helped the family business. And John didn't really finish college; he did 2 years, and he was in it. And I loved it. I love produce. I don't know why. I love produce. And my son wanted to open up the store, and I'm like, oh my gosh, of all the things to do, retail's the worst. But he had a dream, and we love our son, we love our kids. We always will help them out with their dreams. And so we tried it, and we ended up loving it. It was like, wow, this is a lot more fun selling 1s and 2s instead of pallets of stuff, and you don't know where it's going, and getting to know people. And then when cancer came, we had to kind of get out of the produce business, and I had to do a lot of work, and so the more I was learning about cancer for John, the more I'm like, oh my gosh, our store, this is the place that people get well. It starts with food, John.
It's a catalyst.
Yes, the catalyst.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we have to, this store has to live.
I was working in the produce business for 30 years, and we'd order pizza and drink coffee and do all this terrible food that we were eating, and we're all getting sick, we're all getting heavy, and people are dying all around us, and we were selling the secret.
Yeah.
It's fresh produce, fruits and
Yes,
vegetables.
God's
It's-
food.
Yeah, it's God's food is what we're supposed to be eating. And
Yes.
that was the answer. In fact, Maria's doing all the studying for cancer before I got cancer. I'm like, Maria, what are you doing? And I'm eating lobster and having all this fun food and rich fat foods and drinking all kinds of alcohol. And she's like, you got to change your life. You're gonna
It's a
kill
lifestyle
yourself.
change. You have to do a lifestyle
Yeah.
change.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you said, it starts with that mindset, and then
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say what success, having success in health can lead to success in health. Success in health can lead to success in life.
Yes.
And
Yes,
really,
needed.
really success. The bottom line is you got to show up. So you've committed. You have to make that commitment or take that leap,
Yes.
and then go from there.
Well, what we've done to help a lot of people is they don't know how. They don't know how to change their diet, because if you go up and down the street, you see banks and fast foods in Illinois. And it's just terrible. It's just always fast foods, fast foods, fast foods. And we're always in a rush to go somewhere and do something. And I don't have time. I don't have time. Well, we all have the same 24 hours.
Yes.
A reality. We all have the same 24 hours.
Same.
Yeah.
Right. So what we do is we have to learn to prepare. And that's what we found is the secret. So get yourself a good cutting board. Get yourself a good knife. Most people have these little tiny knives they're trying to cut produce. Get yourself a good knife, a $100 knife. Go out and spend the money. And get yourself, and then you start preparing the night before. So you go to the market twice a week, 3 times a week, not once a week, twice a week minimum. Buy your vegetables, cut them up, wash them, cut them up, prep them, put them in a container, so the next morning you can just grab and go. And you start eating more vegetables, you eat more fruit, and all of a sudden your body starts to change, and you start to feel different. And all of a sudden, oh, I do have more energy, or I do feel better. And now you start to change your diet a little bit more. So what do you need to do? You need to learn. The internet is loaded with recipes and nutrition facts. We could sit here for months and talk about the plant-based diet and what it's good about. You have to have the motivation
Yes.
to start the change.
Well, what I think, John, the problem is with society right now, there's so much information that's out there that they're just paralyzed. They don't know what to do, because some say, oh, your protein's in meat. I get all my protein in meat.
Yeah, it's
And
the
you
wrong
can't get
question.
protein in vegetables. Like, oh,
Yeah, I tell
Like,
that's
what?
clearly a hashtag myth that you can't get protein in other ways.
Right.
I tell people all the time.
I always say that. I
Hashtag
Yeah.
myth.
I go, what do cows do?
Right.
Do cows eat other cows?
Yeah.
No, they eat the grass.
that's how they get their protein, right?
I love that analogy, by the way.
Yeah, they-
Cows don't eat cows.
Cows don't eat
Right,
cows.
they recycle it, and
Right,
they're
right.
reading it, the bad stuff. So, I mean, so people are so confused. Do I eat dairy? Do I eat milk, cheese, dairy? Do I eat carbs now? The keto diet, all these diets, and they're
Eat plants.
confused. They're so confused. So,
And this is why I think platforms like this are great. I mean, it's this is one of the reasons I told you guys off air. I go, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to get into what I'm doing now. When my wife and I can see this idea is like there's so much misinformation out there.
Yes.
You know, let's tell it to people. Let's leverage my network of friends and colleagues that know what they're doing, that are in the trenches just like you are. As you mentioned, John,
Yes.
you only get 24 hours. You get the same 24 hours.
Well,
Yes.
if they keep you confused, they can control you.
right.
But if you start taking the steps and you start physically feeling better, mentally, spiritually, everything, then you'll get addicted to eating better. And that's the secret.
That's those, you know, we talk about somebody's got to break free of those habits, but once you get those good habits, the rest is amazing. John, you I think you like read my notes ahead of time.
I did read your notes.
I know, I'm just joking. No, but when you were saying like you know, you gave some great ways to overcome some of those barriers to people getting the fresh produce, or not have the time. You prepare ahead of time.
Yes.
You know, actually, I had that written down on here to prepare ahead of time.
Yes.
But you're talking about now giving people these opportunities for success, that foundation that we're creating, and that hopefully sets you up for the next level. So when you see your doc, or you go to your high school where you're looking great, your 30-year reunion or something like that.
Right.
But you're doing these things and you're able to function more with your family, with your loved ones. that's what it's all about. It's not getting over. It's not about prestige. It's not about money. I mean, those are important for some people, but it's not for everything because that's not what you're going to have on your tombstone. He was all about prestige. He was all about money. That's not what people want to know. That's not legacy.
No.
Well, that's the biggest thing. The people with a lot of money, with a lot of success, their number one concern is what is their legacy? What am I going to leave behind? And why leave it behind? Someone else is going to use it. I mean, the pharaohs left billions of dollars of money behind. It's gone. So it got robbed, it got stolen. So leave your passion into other people and plant the seed that God gave into your heart, into other people's heart. And then that way, that lives on for eternity. Your passion. I'm reading books about people that lived hundreds and thousands of years ago, and their passion is in writing, and it was passed down to generations. And so why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we actually, our passion is eating well and getting people healthy, and it's so simple.
It's a calling now, actually.
It's a calling, right. It's become a calling. Just start
That's
doing
different.
it. Just start doing it. So that's, I guess, I don't know where the original question was, but the point is that...
Tombstone.
Yeah, what's on your tombstone?
What's on your tombstone, John? I know what yours is.
Yeah, I don't want a tombstone.
I don't either. Well,
Exactly. I don't want one either. I'm like,
Burn
no.
me, throw me in the ocean. I'm good.
Nobody's raising their hand saying they
either.
want to get checked out on life early.
no.
No, we're in this for the long haul
Right.
because
And
we
that was-
still have a certain
That was part of
purpose.
my cancer fight too. It's like they go, oh, we're so sorry. Oh, you got cancer. I'm not dying. I'm not gonna die. That was my mindset. I'm not dying. Why do you guys look at me like I'm a walking dead man? I'm not dead yet. And so that was the people, it aggravated me. It made me so mad. Oh, poor me, I have cancer. No, I have cancer. I'm gonna live and I'm gonna do something with it now.
Yeah.
And whatever you give me, God, let's go. Let's do it. I'm a fighter. I'm not quitting. And that's what we gotta do. We have to stand up and fight.
Actually say cancer's a blessing in our life because it
Yeah.
opened our eyes to what we were doing wrong, because we wouldn't have never have known, because it's your body wants to live, so it turns into this icky cell that keeps you alive, and now you're like, what? How did I get here? And so you start changing, you start looking for answers. You meet a doctor like Kim Williams that you're going to talk to one day, right?
Yes, hopefully, if he agrees to come on my show.
Yes,
I'll
Dr.
send
Kim
the
Williams,
invitation. No, I think about you might be marching down one path in life and then something happens, and you chose to be resilient in that moment, or instead of being more and more vulnerable. And that affected your whole outlook on life. And a lot of us have those stories. And I want people to tell those stories. I want them to preach from the mountaintops. You might have been going down one way with your health, something happened, and then all of a sudden, as you said, Maria, cancer was a blessing.
Yeah.
And now you guys are down this path of inspiring other people and getting people to live healthy and happy lives with their families. I think it's powerful.
We even pray in our store. We pray in our store. We do crazy things in our store.
All the time.
It's not normal. We have Christian music playing. We let people come. Just tell us your story. What are you going through? Let us help you. Because that store is it's Produce with Purpose. We call our store now, not Passion for Produce. We're here really for these people to come in for hope, to get well. What's going on in your life? And even if it's not health, food. How else can we help you guys get to another level so you can do great things for God?
That's me as when I approach seeing patients on a daily basis. I'm always curious to know, how did somebody's health journey begin? How did they get from point A to point B? But as I see their health journey, that also gives me a glimpse of their life journey. And those are it's just a continuum, because it's really life. But when you see that health, you're like, okay, I catch them in this window, but you get that glimpse and you're like, okay, this is what's most important to them. And I always tell people, I don't get offended if somebody only sees me once a year for a physical, because I know that at that point, hey, they're going back into their life, they're going back to their communities and doing just great things and having health, because you got to have some health to be able to do things again. You mentioned the travel. If your life mission is go see the Great Wall of China and see the marvel at it, but if you're on dialysis and you're getting dialyzed 3 times a week, it ain't happening. You gotta have you gotta have good health, and so we always say don't take your health for granted. And John, you're like a living example of, hey, I was given this diagnosis and I persevered.
A lot of people come to us and ask for us how to do this, and we turn around and say, there's no pill to make you well when you're in cancer. It's an entire mindset and life change. And I think that's what people want, the pill, get me well so I go back to my life. And then I say, are you happy in your life? And they go, no, I'm not happy in my life. Well, why do you want to go back to it? Why do you want to go back to what you're not happy? Change something. Change something and then start going down that path.
I want to read another quote for you guys. I mentioned earlier we did a Chinese proverb. We got another quote for you. This is from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Here we go.
Okay.
The purpose, quote, the purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well.
Oh.
You know, I hear that and I go, I go, wow, was he writing this for me?
Yes.
Because yes, my day to day, yes, I'm a physician. I try my best to hear people's stories and get them well and hopefully help healing. But my mission on this planet and this life is much bigger than just being a physician. It's being part of something bigger than you. And I would say you got to lose yourself in something that's bigger than you. You check your ego at the door, lose yourself and get involved in something that's bigger in what we're here for. The power of just humankind, mankind. And so, yes, it's like, yes, I'm a citizen of the world and really believer in faith.
Mm-hmm. I love that quote.
Yeah, I love that quote. That's a great quote. I want to ask you guys this question. There we go. This is for John. I'm going to pick on you. All right.
Okay,
Always
thank
pick
you.
on John.
I'll pick on John. Yeah.
She's cuter and smarter.
Oh, no,
Why did you go to her?
No.
John, this question is for you. Here we go. All right. I'll kind of shape this up to you. It is safe to say that most people aren't born knowing what they want to do in their lives. So as a result, they don't yet know their life's purpose. But the New York Times best-selling author Mark Manson, he believes that we should reframe the question instead of what's my life purpose. He says the question should be, what can I do with my time that is important? What's your take on that, John? Where you say, like, instead of what's my life purpose versus what can I do with my time that's important?
I think when we ask that big question, what is my life purpose, I think it changes. I don't think it's supposed to be one purpose, one life, one purpose. I think we go through seasons in our life. You know, I have a guy that works for us, he's just got a baby, got a house. I said, just settle in. Just settle in. 20 years, let your kids grow up, focus on what you're doing, focus on your wife, become the best husband, become the best father, become the best worker you can, because this is a season of your life. You don't have the same, my daughters are 22 to 24, they don't have the same passions and purpose that we did. I mean, it changes. So don't get locked into this thought that it has to be one thing, one purpose, one life. It'll change. And to go to the second half of that quote, he said,
He said, what can I do with my time that is important?
time is your most valuable asset. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much talent, no matter how many gifts, time is the most important. So don't get lost into the time wasters. You know, I use the Facebook searching. I do that when I'm in the bathroom. So I'm using the bathroom net. But then I'm like, hey, get off the Facebook.
The things we do in
Okay,
the bathroom, by the
yeah. So don't let the time waste away. Don't sit there and click through the channels because you don't really know what to do. Either like you're really tired but you don't want to go to sleep. Get up, walk around, do something productive all the time. Sleeping is productive.
Yes.
Walking
How
is
you heal.
productive.
How you heal.
Preparing food is productive. So stay in productive mode as opposed to time waster modes. And there are all kinds of time waster modes. And I know that that's one of our biggest things that I try to consciously remember that we're not wasting our time. And that's huge. Your life will just change and opportunities will open up. And I always hear people say, oh, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time.
Start right now.
It's not right now.
Let's go. I'm here.
Stop
We'll go
talking about
together.
it. Stop talking about it. Start doing it.
Now, you got to be intentional in your goals on a daily
Yes.
basis. I always tell people this, and I give this advice to my patients. I say, hey, you know, yes, once you wake up and once you're driving your car to work and you get into work, you're on somebody else's time and somebody else's dollar.
Yeah.
And the moments that you really only have to yourself, those first moments for a lot of people. Now, there are other people might have moments later on in the day, but those moments that you have for yourself, take 5 minutes, take 15 minutes, wake up earlier before the rest of your house wakes up, and pray, or be mindful, or if it's dark out early in the morning, look out your window, the stars are still in the sky. When was the last time somebody looked up and just marveled at what we're here? We're on a planet that spins around the sun. I'm like, in this universe,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting cosmic on this thing for you guys right now, but there's so much more at play. I know for me, I had another aha moment. I mean, when my wife and I were pregnant, well, I wasn't pregnant, she was pregnant. When she was pregnant with our second son, I was just working like crazy in the hospital, and I already missed a lot of time seeing my daughter. And I basically said, you know what am I doing this for? I had to stop and say, okay, I missed this, and this, and this, and that as a physician. And I go, but that's not fulfilling. So I got rid of my hospital duties. I said, I'm done with that to now be able to do things that are more important. So you talked earlier, John and Marie, you guys were talking about prioritizing.
I had to say one more thing, add to
Please.
the purpose.
Yeah.
I can't believe you missed this, John. All of us have the same purpose. We're here for God, God's here for us, and we're here for others. So how you use your life and that my perspective, and having that in the back of your mind, it's just like, it's easy.
Yeah, we're part of something bigger.
Yeah, we're here for God.
There's
And to serve.
I want to add to that because not everybody's a believer. Not everybody believes in Jesus, and they have this spiritual sense. I have a woman at work who's very spiritual. She believes in God, but she doesn't believe in Jesus. And she says, this is my spirit being, and I love to be around you because of your spirit. So whatever you call it, if you call it Jesus, if you call it spirit, you call it the Holy Ghost, you call it, Buddha or Hinduism, whatever those other faiths are out there, is you have to understand that, in my perspective, I call that Jesus because he came down to the earth and saved us as a grace, by his grace, and other people don't. But what I'm trying to say is that there's two realms at work here. There's the realm of your earthly body, and there's the spiritual world that's at work here. And when you say, I want to do something beyond yourself, it's beyond yourself in a sense of not only the physical help of somebody else, but it's the spiritual help of somebody else.
Yeah, we don't talk about
Amen.
spiritual health.
We need that.
We need to talk more about it, absolutely.
Yes.
We need that.
Well, guys, we got about 5 minutes left, so what I want to do, I mean, we could be talking about this forever,
Okay. Okay.
but this is great, So what I want to do is I kind of want to wrap this up. We've been having just amazing discussion about purpose, about your calling, about just community, about support, about being part of something bigger than we are, and providing what we can to the next generation and the generation after that. So really what I want to kind of do is wrap this up. I want to kind of maybe leave people with a few take-home points.
Okay.
So again, we're talking about purpose. So I guess my question is this. So as we're wrapping up the show, I'll start with John. John, what are some take-home points that you can give to people that may not know what their purpose is yet? You have a few words of advice or a few
Start
words of wisdom?
start writing stuff down. It's the easiest way to look at it. So write down the things you like to do. Write down the things you hate to do. Write down your goals and dreams. It's the big, hairy, audacious steps.
Yeah.
If you ever look it up, just look up big, hairy, audacious goals, and you'll find it out. And then what you do is you have somebody else evaluate you. Because you're always so self-critical. You always, oh, I'm not good at this, oh, I'm not good at that. But if somebody else evaluates you, that you love and trust, and that knows you well, they'll start writing down all the things that you don't think you are. And then you go, oh my gosh, I didn't know I was really good at that. I didn't know I was good. And then all the things that you can change in your life, write them down. All the things you can't change in your life, write them down and then cross them off.
Yes.
Because if you cross them off, your mind says, okay, I can't change that. I cannot change that. I have no power in changing that. So take your energy and towards it to the things that you can change, and take a leap of faith and start changing.
Doing.
Do it.
Action.
Just
Doing.
start
Just
doing
doing
it.
it.
Yeah,
Just
just
do
do
it.
it.
Yeah, write your gifts and talents down too, and get a mentor.
Those are great words. Maria, you want to add anything else?
Yeah, besides that.
Okay,
Yeah.
No, that's great. That was great. Well, my final thoughts are this. Again, find what issues are close to your heart.
Yes.
Embrace them. Many people, and kind of what John just said, many people have passions that they are unaware of. Write things that are down that interest you, and really have a plan. Be intentional with your behaviors. Anything is possible when you do that. So I want to thank John and Maria Graves coming out on the show today. Again, check them out, www.peterrubi.com. Of course, my name is Mark Gomez. You can check me out on all my handles at To Your Health Dr. G. Next week, we'll be back on my Back to School Health Series Part 2, Fall Sports and Injury Prevention. So again, hey everybody, this has been a great show, powerful, inspiring. I hope everybody has a blessed day. Peace out.
Bye-bye.